So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover that day's newspaper through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. The idea behind this lecture series is very simple. If you have not covered today's newspaper, well, then your current affairs would get covered. Plus, you'll get the much needed MCQ practice. But this series will definitely benefit you if you make this lecture series a part of your daily routine. If you're consistent with it, if you're daily covering 4 to 5 MCQs with me, then by the end of 1 month, you would have covered more than 100 MCQs. And by the end of 1 year, you would have covered 1200 MCQs. So next year, when you'll be ready for your prelims examination, you would have covered 1200 MCQs from current affairs itself. I'm not talking about other subjects, just current affairs. And 1200 MCQs for just current affairs are more than sufficient. You wouldn't have to worry about your current affairs portion as far as your prelims examination is concerned. So be consistent, regular with this series, okay? All right. Now let's straight away jump to question number 1. Okay. So question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding scheduled caste list. Article 341 of the Constitution allows the President to issue by notification a list of communities classified as scheduled castes. Only Parliament has the power to amend that list by law. State assemblies can amend the list for their respective states. How many of the above statements are correct? Now look, there is this article called Article 341 in our Constitution. Okay, it has two clauses, Clause 1 and Clause 2. Clause 1 states that President, and by President, central government, because President is bound by the aid and advice of Union Council of Ministers. Okay, so President by notification can issue a list of scheduled castes. So it will issue a list of communities that will be categorized as scheduled castes. Okay, President has the power to do that. President will consult with the governors of the states because there are certain communities that are scheduled castes, but they are confined to one particular state only. So president does consult with the governors of the state. Nonetheless, president would come out with a notification, okay, after consultation with the governors of respective states. So this is absolutely correct because this statement 1 is actually clause 1 of Article 341. But side by side, clause 2 states that any amendment to this list, inclusion of different communities, any amendment to this list shall be only done by Parliament through a law. Okay, so President can notify or through a notification amend the list, but provided Parliament has created a law regarding that. So the power lies with the Parliament to amend the list. President has the power to create the list. Parliament has the power to amend the list. That's all. No other authority in our country has the power to amend the list. Neither the president, nor the governor of any state, nor the state government, state legislative assemblies, no one. Only the Parliament. Okay, so second statement is also correct because it is related to clause 2 of Article 341. Now, third statement is state legislative assemblies can amend the list for their respective states alone. No. In fact, in 2015, Bihar government issued a notification through which they included a particular caste called Tanti Tantwa, a traditional weaving caste. They included this caste in the SC list. Okay. Recently, a petition was filed challenging this notification by Bihar government, and Supreme Court has said that Bihar government has no right to include or exclude any particular community from the scheduled caste list because it lies with Parliament alone as per the Indian Constitution. So this statement is false. Only 2B. Question number 2. Which of the following statements regarding money bill are correct? Any decision as to whether a bill is a money bill shall be taken by Speaker of the Lok Sabha and his decision shall be final. A money bill cannot be returned to the House by the President for reconsideration. Article 110 of the Constitution clearly specifies Rajya Sabha's role vis-a-vis money bill. Now look, there are bills presented in the Parliament, and when these bills are passed and signed by the President, these bills become law or act of Parliament. Now there is a category of bill called money bill. All the other bills to become an act of Parliament, all the other bills have to pass by Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and then President's assent, right? But money bill is a bit special. Money bill has to be only passed by Lok Sabha. it will be tabled in Rajya Sabha, but Rajya Sabha can only recommend. Rajya Sabha can only recommend. So once it's passed by Lok Sabha, first of all, it will be presented in Lok Sabha only. Once Lok Sabha passes it, it will be sent to Rajya Sabha, and Rajya Sabha has 14 days time to present its recommendations. Lok Sabha has the right to accept those recommendations, reject those recommendations, and straight away place the bill on the president's table. So Rajya Sabha has no power whatsoever. If Rajya Sabha fails to return the bill in 14 days, well, then Lok Sabha would assume that Rajya Sabha agrees with us. Okay, so Rajya Sabha has no power whatsoever. It is just a recommendatory body. Now, money bill generally deals with taxes or expenditure from Consolidated Fund of India. All right. Now, who will decide whether a bill is a money bill or not? Because opposition parties might argue that there are certain laws that ruling party might want to, they cannot pass because they don't have a majority in Rajya Sabha, so they classify it as money bill and then pass it, right? So who will decide whether a bill is a money bill or not? Well, Article 110, Clause 3 clearly mentions that if there is any dispute regarding that, then Speaker will take a call, Speaker of Lok Sabha, and his decision shall be final. Okay, so Article 110, first of all, Clause 1 of Article 110 defines what money bill is, and Clause 3 actually says that Speaker's decision shall be final. Okay, so first statement is correct. Money bill cannot be returned to the House by the President. Yes, generally what happens is that a bill is passed by the Parliament and given to the President for his assent. If President feels that the House, both houses have committed some errors, then President might return that bill for reconsideration to the House. The House can reconsider that bill and return it to the President. But once the House returns that bill to the President has to pass it, has to give it his assent, right? But that is not the case with money bill. If Lok Sabha passes the money bill and gives it to the President cannot return it for reconsideration. So this is also correct. Now, Article 1110 defines money bill, defines the role of Speaker. But it's actually the Article 109 which tells us that Rajya Sabha has no role vis-a-vis money bill. It actually explains this 14 days phenomena, recommendations and all that is mentioned in Article 109, not Article 1110. So this statement is false, only 1 and 2. All right. Question number 3. Which of the following statements regarding Chandipura virus are correct? It was first discovered in Chandipura village of Gujarat in 1965. Now, everything is correct in this statement, okay? Except it's not Gujarat, it's Maharashtra. Vaccine for this infection is part of India's national immunization program. Now, look, Chandipura viral infection is known as CHPV. Okay? Now, there is no treatment available. There is no medicine for this infection. There is no vaccine. So if there is no vaccine for this infection, how can it be included in national immunization program? This is also false. Now, it generally infects under 15 children. Okay? And when it infects you, it attacks your central nervous system and leads to encephalitis. Encephalitis means inflammation of your brain tissue. Inflammation of brain tissue. So this is correct. Now, how does this virus enters your body? So, for example, dengue virus enters your body through the bite of a mosquito, Aedes mosquito. Now, Aedes mosquito in this case is known as the vector. So, what is the vector for this infection? Well, sandflies and Aedes mosquito both are vectors for this infection. So, this is also correct. Okay, 3 and 4. C. And last question number 4. Consider the following statements regarding National Quantum Mission. It was launched in 2023 with a budget of $0.75 billion for a period of 2023-31. It shall be implemented by Ministry of Electronics and IT. The mission focuses on 4 thematic hubs, T hubs: computing, communication, sensors, materials. Now look, National Quantum Mission was launched to build India's capacity vis-a-vis quantum technology. Now it was launched in 2023, absolutely correct. Its budget was $0.75 billion, absolutely correct, which amounts to 6,000 crore rupees. Generally, people remember the amount in crore, they don't remember the amount in US dollars. So this is also important. Okay. And yes, its period is 2023-31. Absolutely correct. Now, this mission shall be implemented by Department of Science and Technology. Now, Department of Science and Technology actually falls under Ministry of Science and Technology. It doesn't fall under Ministry of Electronics and IT, so this is false. Now, this mission will focus on 4 areas, which are known as 4 thematic hubs, T hubs. It will focus on quantum computing. It will focus on quantum communication. It will focus on quantum sensors. It will focus on quantum materials. Right? So this statement is also correct. The answer to this question would be 1 and 3 only, C. All right. And with that, we conclude our session. Okay. Our MCQs for the day are done. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And yes, just a second. Yeah, there was a bit of a hiccup. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation, though it would add more value if you're consistent with this lecture series, if you're regular with this lecture series. All right. So that's it from my side, guys. And I'll see you tomorrow with 18th July 2024's newspaper. Thank you, everyone.